Welcome back, students, to Accounting Lesson 3. And this week we're on our own. We won't have a class meeting, so you want to pay careful attention to the outline that I provided in this video script and to the text itself. Chapter 5 introduces inventory accounting for the manufacturing and merchandising business models. We will introduce and discuss 4 cost flow methods that are allowed under the generally accepted accounting practices. Although the firm has a choice of methods, once a choice has been made, the firm is not allowed to change to a different method without a substantial reason. The cost flow method chosen has a large effect on the gross margin and gross margin that is reported in the income statement. So it does affect income, and which therefore affects taxes, and why the IRS requires that we achieve some consistency. To begin with, the 4 cost flow methods are the following: specific identification, first in, first out, last in, first out, and weighted average. The actual physical flow of goods may not match the accounting method used, and it's not necessary that it does. This is fine as long as we are consistently using one accounting method. Goods usually move physically on a first in, first out basis, meaning that the oldest inventory is generally sold first. An example to the contrary would be a pile of gravel, where the gravel on top of the pile is sold first, since it is the only material accessible, even though it was the last deposited. Since inventories often consist of identical goods purchased at different prices, we need a system to calculate the cost of goods sold to calculate the gross margin generated by each sale. We find that the last purchase of inventory usually costs more than those purchased earlier. This is because the environment is generally one of rising prices, termed inflation. The opposite would be a deflationary environment characterized by generally falling prices. Under the more common inflationary scenario, FIFO, pronounced FIFO, first in, first out, would show a lower cost of goods sold than a LIFO, last in, first out system. This is because we are counting the older, cheaper goods first and the newer, higher priced goods after the earlier units have been used up. This has the effect of increasing income reported, which in turn triggers higher current taxes. LIFO has the effect of reducing income and therefore taxes in the current accounting period. Note that the taxes are not actually reduced, just delayed. Still, the temporary tax saving can be quite large and works like a free loan of funds that can be used for working capital until the taxes become due at a later period. To really understand the differences, answer the Check Yourself problem 5.2, which is found on page 256 in the yellow and green highlighted box in your textbook. We generally contrast FIFO and LIFO systems since they show the greatest differences. The weighted average method will show a cost that is exactly between the two. The specific units method is neutral since we are tracking a single item only cost-wise. Note that using LIFO or weighted average methods can cause timing problems that are partially overcome by using the perpetual inventory system as opposed to the periodic inventory system. This is an advanced discussion that's beyond the scope of the course, so we won't discuss it. Final inventories are reported at either historical cost or actual market value, whichever is lower. Any losses due to damage, deterioration, obsolescence, theft, or price deflation is recognized during that current period. Inventory accounting presents an opportunity for fraud. The accounting system includes a number of tools and controls that help reduce this possibility. The author discusses some of these practices on page 251 and 252. Take a close look at it. A fuller treatment of fraud is presented in the auditing classes taught here at IAU. The Check Yourself problem 5.3 on page 2063 is the last reference I'll make, and it shows the difference between physical count and estimated count that can be ignored because it is not material. We close with a discussion of the effects of gross margin and inventory turnover rates on profits. This analysis can be very useful in ensuring the relative stability and efficiency of different firms in the same industry. The discussion questions are a little longer, but there are only 2 sets, so the homework is about the same as it would be if you had taken 2 chapters. The remaining lessons will cover sometimes 2, sometimes 1 chapter for reading and problem solving. Thank you very much. We'll see you in class week 4.